Hello guys, and welcome to a new live stream from Typhon Alpha. And sorry for being a few minutes late. Forgot that I needed to do the new update on my PC for Rise of Kingdoms. So without further ado, let's get straight into the live stream topic, which today I've chose to be about kingdom building, and what goes into leadership, seedings and all that stuff. So to start with, I'm currently in 3157 and we are a high D seed, and if you go to certain websites like Flyetch, over there you can see all the different kingdom seedings. You can just search up a kingdom number and it will tell you what seeding they are in based on their top 300 City Hall 25s. And then some kingdoms don't have 300 City Hall 25s, so it'll just be all the City Hall 25 power, which is what is considered by matchmaking for KVKs. Now, as some of you know, I'm going to be going to 3515 very shortly. They are in off season for KVK3. If we can find them here. There you go, 3515. And this kingdom seems to want to be probably a high C or low B kingdom for their future aspirations. I think they want to probably be a high C seed in their KVK3, which is going to be all these kingdoms as you can see here, which is going to be 3497 all the way up to 3528. And so it will be a 32 kingdom bracket where you'll have 4 A seeds, 12 B seeds, 4 C seeds and 12 D seeds. And as you can see, there's some quite big kingdoms like 3500. They're a very big young kingdom, which one of my friends from 3157 went here for KVK2, and they've been absolutely smashing it in KVK1 and KVK2, and that'll be something of a topic that I'll discuss later in this live stream about kingdom leadership and how kingdoms need to evolve later on. Got 3505, they seem to be relatively strong. 3507, and then if we go into my bracket, there doesn't seem to be any rising star kingdoms, but I believe like 35, I want to say 35 26 is quite a big kingdom. 3513 apparently is quite big as well. But these all had rising star statuses going into KVK2. And so yeah, it'll be a very interesting matchup, which I believe their Lost Kingdom opens on the 2nd of January. So we'll have Marauders around 25th, 26th. And then go into Lost Kingdom on the 2nd of January, which I'm looking forward to. And so to start with, as a leadership person in 3157, even I have taken a bit of a back step in this KVK just because the leadership here are aware that I'm going to be leaving in the next few days. But some of the important things to note is going to be like the culture in the kingdom, so making sure that everyone is in harmony, everyone knows their expectations. I like to run kingdoms where there's no toxicity and people like trash talking in Lost Kingdom chat, even though some kingdoms do permit that. Making sure players know the expectations for events with regular emails. So like events like Alliance Mobilization is a very key event to be making sure that you get the most out of your players, making sure that you set point goals for all your players, to make sure you can get the highest rank here and also get the maximum amount of rewards out of this event, which is a lot of rewards for all your players in the kingdom. You want to be hitting level 10 probably at minimum to get those extra 3 heads for commanders, especially in younger kingdoms as well, which are more active. You need to be trying to hit level 10 at minimum. Obviously level 12 be really nice, level 15 and so on. Level 18 if you're like an Imperium aspiring kingdom. And then obviously you've got events. You need to be making sure that you structure events like training day and gold head events to make sure that the key players in your kingdom are getting their hands on the universal gold heads to be able to work on their commanders for rally and garrison, and their top fighters in the kingdom. Some kingdoms like to use gold head events especially to reward the players that have performed the best in KVK, and that's also a very good idea. So even if you have non-rally garrison players that are putting up strong performances in KVK, that you're rewarding those players with places in gold head events and setting caps for those events for other players. I know personally from experience in day 157, you do get quite a few rogue players that don't follow the kingdom rules, and so it makes it quite hard to fix these sort of events, but you need to try your best to reward the players that are performing the best in your KVKs, and I think this is one of the best events to do that with. MG is also a great opportunity as well with the new range commander coming to MGs, so you know, even your average 45-50 mil player, you know, being able to build a siege march could be really useful, or you know, Gorgo still very useful in the open field, and being able to reward those players that performed but might not necessarily be rally garrison players. And yeah, that's the reward side of things, and making sure that you keep people happy in your kingdom. When it comes to matchmaking and building the credibility of your kingdoms, making sure that you take competitive KVKs where everyone can fight. If you want to bring in better fighters and keep your morale high in your kingdom. So if any of you watch YouTubers like Bus Driver, he goes into kingdom building in a lot more detail, but it's making sure that you're going into stories, you're always trying to compete in those KVKs. Some kingdoms like to take recovery KVKs where they go into it knowing that they're not going to be competitive, and in some regard that can be good, but you don't want to be trying to build a kingdom that max skips KVKs where it gets very boring in the off season. and it's very hard to retain your players. Making sure that matchmaking, as best as your ability, is fair. Obviously, in a KVK like this one, which I'm in, there is 32 kingdoms in 4 camps, so it does make it very difficult to deploy a competitive KVK in this regard. But in the best of your ability, you should be trying to invoke strong competitive KVKs where you have a chance of winning, but you're not going to be just dominating your position in KVKs. And I think we got that in this KVK in particular. Like, Earth is a really strong camp. Unfortunately, in Zone 5, in this KVK, both us and our allies, Water, both lost our Zone 5s, which is a bit annoying. We did put up a really strong showing in our Zone 5, where we were dominating this middle area and also going around the sides, top and bottom, to try and cut them off. Based on what I saw, because I was on holiday at the time with really poor Wi-Fi, where I couldn't stream the KVK at all, or even buying it with that regard. But yeah, unfortunately we lost this zone in the end. Apparently there was some mistakes made in leadership. I think there was way too much focus trying to go around the sides here that we lost the fight in the middle, and then we ended up getting cut off. That's basically what I saw and heard. Which is unfortunate, but at least we got safe farming in this zone, and hopefully we can put up a stronger fight at this Pass 7 and also King's Land in the future, which I will still have my alt account in 3157, which I'll be fighting with for the rest of this KVK. Mind me while I'm eating a biscuit. You might hear some munching. So yeah, back into the topic in hand. I want to focus a bit more on younger kingdoms in this live stream, just because I'm going to be going to KVK 3 kingdom. But when it comes to seeding, I would make sure that, because the way KVK 3 matchmaking works is that you pick your allies before you go into KVK. You want to make sure if your kingdom in the CD bracket or the AB bracket that you're looking like a strong kingdom for your power in accordance to your stats, making your kingdom as lean as possible without too much dead weight. I know dead weight is quite a hard problem in younger kingdoms because you can't really necessarily get rid of a lot of your players to a lot of other kingdoms, because you're kind of constrained to the kingdoms in this bracket to try and send your players out of the kingdom. But you should be trying to get rid of any non-performers from your KVK2 players that are not investing in events like Alliance Mobilization, and trying to make your kingdom as competitive as possible. So earlier I was saying about 3500, this is probably the strongest kingdom out of these 32 kingdoms, and I think they're trying to aim for Imperium in the long term. So if we have a quick gander at this kingdom, I believe they are 2 Alliance Kingdom with about 4 bill power in the second alliance. I hate this new click system, by the way. Yeah, 4.5 bill in their second alliance, which is pretty high. And then their main alliance is, yeah, almost 8 bill, 2 stars on both the KVKs. Very strong kingdom. I think my friend that I once played with should be somewhere in here. Where is the guy? Is he not here? Where is the Pika? Pika, did I scroll past him? Okay. I must have, yeah, this guy. Yeah, I played this guy in 3157. He was in leadership couple KVKs ago. Strong fire, early on count. Hope he's doing well. But yeah, for a kingdom like this, like young kingdoms struggle when they hit KVK 5 and beyond. As people will know, up to KVK 5 you will be matched with kingdoms within your bracket. So in KVK 3 you've got the 32 kingdom bracket. I believe this is the same in KVK 4 as well. And in KVK 5 you can fight against, you know, some of the oldest and biggest kingdoms in the game. And a lot of these younger kingdoms, especially when they're Rising Star Imperiums, they come up against these much bigger kingdoms like your 1960s, your 1093s, and they get absolutely demolished in KVK 5 or KVK 6. And because the players in this kingdom are so used to winning all their KVKs and getting the star, because they like 3500 is probably getting 3 or 4 stars before their KVK 5. They're so used to winning that when they get their first loss, the players aren't obviously used to that, you know, taking that loss, taking that L, not getting that many rewards, and a lot of the players will start to leave, and the leadership will struggle to deal with the fact that they need to motivate their players out of that losing mentality, and like being able to prevail long term. Because we've seen a kingdom in our KVK bracket in 3159. I believe they came against 1960 or one of the other big kingdoms like 1875, and they lost their KVK after winning like 4 KVKs on the bounce, and yeah, they started going downhill and losing a lot of players. So I don't know what bracket they're in now. I think they're like a B seed maybe, but they were once like a high A seed. 5.8, yeah. So they got their 4 stars in KVK 1 to 4. And then I went into KVK 5 against, you know, one of the biggest, baddest kingdoms and lost, and then loads of their players migrated out. So they got like a 4-2 KVK record. I believe both of these 2 losses are in their recent KVKs. And because they're younger kingdom, they got a lot of younger native accounts. They just struggle to compete against the older kingdoms, where there is a lot more leanness to their kingdom, because all the casual players have quit the game or left the kingdom, and so they've optimized their power to be on the biggest players. and so their power is a lot more balanced for what they can fight at. They still got strong fighters in this kingdom. Maybe not him. This guy, strong fire, king. I believe this is a new king to 3159. And then that's part of the reason why I'm going to 3515. 3515 seems to be wanting to compete for a CB seed in the long term. I think that's a strong balance going into some of the later KVKs, because KVKs aren't going to be so reliant on you to be the main fighter in your KVK, because you'll have at least 3 or 4 other kingdoms in your camp. If we go to like Ties of War, for instance, let's try and find a young kingdom. Yeah, so like this KVK, even though there are second domains in this KVK, like a 3294, they're a pretty young kingdom. Going into like their KVK 5, KVK 6, and they're coming up against, kingdoms like 1021 and 1451, which are much older kingdoms. And like, if they were fighting on their own or with 2 allies that were also young kingdoms, like, they'd get absolutely smoked in this KVK. But because they've got all these other older, more experienced kingdoms, their activity is actually a asset to those camps. Like in like 3157's last KVK, which we won, we were like the youngest kingdom in the KVK by quite a bit, and even though we don't have all the big fighters in 3157, we do bring a lot more activity to our camp. So we have a lot more active fighters, maybe not as many garrison rally leads as some of the other kingdoms, and some of the other kingdoms have a lot more optimized power, because generally speaking, younger kingdoms carry a lot of dead weight, just in general. Like a kingdom like 1105, unless they decide to open up the gates and let in loads of deadweight farm accounts, this kingdom is going to be pretty lean for its competitive power if they're trying to compete in KVKs, because they would have got rid of their deadweights long time ago. Obviously you do have the possibility that kingdoms get bought, and so kingdoms might naturally have deadweight already in the kingdom that you have to clear, but generally speaking, older kingdoms have far less deadweight than younger kingdoms, and younger kingdoms don't necessarily have more fighters than these other kingdoms, but they have more power because players have stayed in the kingdom that are still 25 and are contributing to matchmaking. Yeah, 32, 22. Young Kingdom, these are all quite young kingdoms. This is very young, 3309. They are playing in a B seed KVK, I believe. Can we see what camp they're in? Yeah, so they're in Earth camp with, to be honest, not that many really old kingdoms, but 2124 is still fairly old. But obviously 3309 isn't going to have to be the main fighting kingdom in this camp, because they've got a lot more experienced, stronger fighters, kingdoms in their camp that are going to be able to bring experience or warfare and strategy to that camp. So yeah, that's a bit of an insight into how kingdoms can die, because like KvK 1, obviously you're fighting against 3 other kingdoms. If we have a look at KvK 1, there's only 4 kingdoms in this, and you don't have any control over what these 4 kingdoms are. They're always together, numbers wise. There's always usually one big kingdom against 3 smaller kingdoms, and this bigger kingdom more often than not wins KvK 1. KvK 2, we usually have a 4 kingdom bracket, which will be 32 kingdoms, or you'll have a 16 kingdom bracket where you're basically competing to try and be in the top seeding or the bottom seeding of KvK 2. The main important thing in KvK 2 is to be instilling a fighting mentality into your players, making sure that your players are starting to adjust to a DKP system, where for players' power they are reaching certain requirements like KP, deads, potentially helps and resource donations as well, and they're hitting their goals in KvK. If you want to build a kingdom that is competitive, you need to be instilling a KvK requirement system which both rewards players but also rewards players to exceed expectations, i.e. giving them events that they can win, giving them resources for their contributions in KvK, giving them kingdom gifts as well, which makes the players want to over exceed in their DKP, and also making sure players perform to their power to not have to zero them for matchmaking reasons. And that's very key in KvK 2 to instill into your players. And then you follow that up into KvK 3 and beyond. Just taking into consideration as well that native players are going to have a very hard time in KvK 3 because of how SOC commanders are released in KvK 3, where you have to wait a while for all the different troop types, and especially right now when players can still migrate back to KvK 2 and 3, native players are going to struggle to compete against those players because all those players have SOC commanders already. They already have full legendary equipment, and so it's probably a lot more wiser in KvK 3 to be giving requirements more towards dead requirements, where players can get solid dead numbers and be a asset to the kingdom in KvK 3, especially in King's Land, which is the main fight in KvK 3. And then as you get into Season of Conquest, then you're starting to instill more fighting requirements into your native players as well as your cross-season migrants. As the migration system closes for KvK 2 and 3, this will be a lot easier to have balanced fighting, where players have the same sort of commanders and equipment, and so you can then start instilling that KP requirement into native players a lot more easily for KvK 3 and beyond. Let me have a cup of tea as well. Oh, that tea is banging. But so that's about KP requirements, and obviously we're talking mainly about kingdoms that are trying to compete long term. So if you want to be a kingdom that attracts migrants and strong fighters, like any kingdom can technically attract any sort of player. Like even DCs can attract high KP strong accounts, but you've got to obviously sell the kingdom if you're going to be like a DC seed, whereby you're telling these more experienced players what the goal of the kingdom is long term. Make sure that, because if you're any competent migrant or seasoned player that's been playing for 3, 4, 5 years, like maybe you want to go to an A seed, maybe you want to go to a D seed because you've got less time to invest in the game, and so you want to have less requirements in lower seed kingdoms, which is usually the way, because like DC kingdoms can compete as much as an A seed kingdom does. It's just they're going to have low requirements. The way fighting works in lower seed kingdoms, KVKs are a lot different to A seeds. As you'll see in like, you know, in a C seed KVK like this, like the murder balls are a lot smaller. The chance to get KP in seasonal conquest for D and C seeds is a lot less than A seeds. There's a lot less lag as well because there's not as many marches on the field. People like to cheeseburger a lot more, which is where you pop out of your city and then you pop back in and you do damage. Hello Wolverine, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Just yapping on about seeding and KVKs and all that stuff. How's it going in your new kingdom, by the way? You winning? But yeah, another thing for leaderships, making sure you have consistent communication with your players. Make sure you're sending emails out about requirements, making sure people know about events as well, like even things like Silk Road. Make sure you've got an email at the start of the event so players know what time the event is. You get maximum participation for those events. And KVK as well, making sure players know what's happening. Obviously don't reveal your strategies to your players. That should be confidential to leadership, but players do need to know, you know, if you're gonna fall back from a position and you're gonna go back into the fight later on. The players are aware what time that push is gonna be, and your players to be ready for that. Wolfman says, yeah, good mate, you leave in 57. Yeah, we won with the help of allies, no star but max rewards. Oh, that's really nice, mate. I'm glad you won your KVK. And yes, I'll be leaving day 157 in probably Friday. The migration to the kingdom I'm going to is opening in about 11 hours, and then I will be maximizing the amount of crystals I spend and optimizing my rewards before I leave. So yeah, I'll be going to a KVK free kingdom on Friday, linking up with them. I'll be keeping my auto account in day 157 for the time being and hitting my KVK requirements. Nothing against day 157, by the way. if any players from my kingdom are watching this, it's just yeah, it's more of a stepping down from leadership point of view. Also wanted to go back to a younger kingdom as well, where there's still SOC commanders that I can grind for, but more in a advisory role to younger leadership teams. I mean, new players, and also trying to grow the channel as well. So having more time for YouTube, not being in a leadership role will be really nice. Is anyone else leaving, or is it just you? All I'm aware of is that it's just me for the time being. I think some other players are considering leaving after KVK, but I don't know for sure if that's going to be the case. No one from 3157 is going to my new kingdom, which is 3515. It's just going to be me, and then I think they've got a few other migrants that are coming in with special point migrations. So I think it's mainly like Gas and Valley elites that are going into that kingdom, because there's no migration cap for KVK3, there's just special tickets. But I've been talking to 3515 for about 2 or 3 weeks now, and they seem like a good bunch of people, all English speaking, and yeah, a chill group of peeps over there, which I'm looking forward to meeting everyone. I'm hoping it works out there. I did get some invitations from other KVK3 kingdoms as well. Also some SOC kingdoms that I know people, some like smaller YouTubers are in some of the other 3000 kingdoms that invited me to come over, but I want to ideally fight in a KVK4 KVK again, where the matchmaking is a lot more balanced, is my aspiration, and to help newer players in the game is my goal. Yeah, it's gonna be a bit sad leaving 3157. I've been here for, this is my 5th KVK here, I believe. Great bunch of people. You know, still got Bad here, or Ad. I don't know where some of the other people are. I think they're in X right now, because X has access to the bastions in this zone, so everyone's getting their double C and Richard Bastion skills done over here, which I should try and do before I go. Yeah, so Clue's over here. Some people from other kingdoms are over here as well. But to be honest, this will make it a lot easier for me to fight on both of my main accounts, because I do have an alt account in HT right now, which has quite low stats on it, because it's very hard to compete with 2 accounts unless you have like ridiculous amounts of time on your hands. So it'd be nice to get, if I can actually find the account here, or actually I'll just go to, yeah, so I have an account here as well that's about 17 mil power, and so I want to fight as hard as I can in this KVK on this account until my main account will go into KVK on the 2nd of January. So I'll be able to do Pass 7 and King's Land fights on this account, and then I also have a ranged march built on my Typhon Farm account as well, that I'm gonna try and use as much as I can. And then I have this big account as well that I haven't signed into in like months. And that's in like, I think it's another KVK3 Kingdom as well. Unfortunately, I just couldn't keep up with 4 accounts that all needed to hit requirements. So yeah, I've done level 1, level 2, trial, co-arc. Unfortunately, the other levels won't open before I leave. I'm going to try and get 25 mil crystals spent before Friday. I don't know how doable that will be. Get the 25k honor achievement done. Get the building achievement done. And some other minor awards as well. Get this as well. And then I'll go. Unfortunately, I didn't get much chance to fight in this KVK on this account. I only got like, 50k dead so far, which is not much. And that was mainly from a minor push that was made here after we lost the zone. Because I just couldn't fight in zone 5 because my Wi-Fi was just so bad when I was on holiday. A quick review of the account. I think I've got about 167 gold heads currently. I need to still max the same command as I did, which is 70 heads on CY. And about 210 heads of the Gogo, which should be done by King's Land of KVK3. Maybe I'll welcome Justinian as well, because she's quite high skilled. And she might become useful in KVK3 as well. I'm still working on Garja from the dailies. And then with the new commander swap that's coming into the game in January, I might commander swap to Cordoba, so I can start using a range march in KVK4 probably. Saving all my equipment, and I'll use this equipment before I leave to spend down some of this gold. The rest of the resources are gonna go to someone who wants to attain them before I leave. And then I'm hoping someone will be kind enough to give me resources on arrival in 15, but because the amount of time to farm is going to be quite minimal, unfortunately. I also want to try and hit the 180 currency from this as well. And probably pick up an extra ring blueprint before I go. And then if I have any excess currency, I'll just get a few gold heads and transportation stones that I bought a few of anyway. Because I did get another rare inscription, I think yesterday. For Wedge, I got, I think it's this one, another Boiling Blood. So I'm trying to transmute it with the 3.2% cav attack to try and get more cav stats that I can then use onto my Neversky March, which has Defiant on it, which needs crystal. I hate this new thing as well. Like, since the update, it doesn't give this yellow line on it, annoyingly. So like it shows the opened crates, but this line doesn't appear when you like log in until you like do one of these tasks. I also need to make sure I complete as much of the what is it? This before I go, because I think this resets when I migrate. So I want to try and get these extra formation choice chests before I go. So I need to try and hit all these challenges as much as I can. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get these ones, so I'll probably end up spending a few gems and then getting the extra gems here, and then the extra gems I spent to get here is going to be like worthwhile. And I don't really care about this stuff because, you know, I can get a hope cloak, but I've got hope cloak blueprints that I can still use right now to upgrade equipment. My idea is to probably try and create these two potentially, because I might need to infantry garrison in KVK3, and my infantry main set is a bit lacking right now. So I think my best infantry set is currently on my Luce, which has 4 crits on it. I got the Greatest Glory on the last stream, which I was really lucky with. And then if I can crit the boots and the gloves, then I'm only missing 2 crits here. And potentially what I would do is I would remove probably the shield and maybe the helmet as well, and then put my KVK helmet and weapon onto the other March as my main set, because even with the crit, Eternal Empire is still weaker than a non-crit KVK helmet unless you have more awaken levels, and so I'd rather move this onto my main set and then have crit on everything else. And it would be a fairly strong garrison for KVK3, KVK, to be honest. Technically I can garrison commander wires with every troop type, so I've got CY that I'll have maxed. I will have Dido, I'll have Hera, I'll have Ziska, I'll have Eleanor, Gorgo, Constantine, Martel, that I can all use for a 3 flag configuration. Then that will probably be when I will try and use some of my temp skins that I have. Like I've got a temporary Rings of Sailcloth skin that I might use in KVK3 for King's Land if we're having a challenging KVK, and then I can use this to defend with all 3 true types efficiently. So I'm gonna pop over to 3515. This is the kingdom I'm gonna be going to, probably on Friday. Technically I can migrate here in 11-12 hours, but my migration is going to be a bit delayed. So they have a council leadership here with a few kings. I think this guy is one of the strongest players in 35-15, and he seems to be an archer main player with pretty strong archer armaments and equipment. So look forward to competing with this guy. 3 Artarks out of 5 is pretty good, fairly strong, 7 wounds. Some good leadership people. I know I've spoken to most of them, I think. SP I've spoken to quite a bit. Bustel, Dolas, might be butchering all these names, forgive me. Creed as well, he speaks a lot in Alliance chat. I do have a farm here currently. This guy I haven't seen at all. I think he might have been a bit inactive recently. But yeah, it seems to be a good group of people. Quite low on the power right now, but they do have quite a bit of power in some of these other alliances as well. I think they're trying to condense their power between two of these alliances, and then try and fight with 2 or 3 alliances in KVK3, which is probably a wise choice. I think by the time you get to KVK4, you want to be optimizing your power and spending into 1 or 2 alliances at max for best efficiency. Try and retain your players that are, the most active as well. And for events like Alliance Mobilization, you want to have all your activity into 2 alliances, ideally. And yeah, that's gonna be the live stream today, boys. I think. Also, it's been a bit of a quiet one. Not had too many people join in. Just wanted to come on and discuss about leadership and seeding, and potentially have some discussion. I'm looking to make some videos that I will drop over the next few days. Probably talking about some of the new commanders that come in next week. Giving some advice videos and stuff like that. So anyone has any ideas, feel free to message me in game or on this video after it's been posted, or over on Discord as well. You can find me quite easily. Yeah, thank you for everyone that's watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.